Hello everyone, welcome to Evolution Astro. Today we are going to talk about the moon in Vedic Astrology. The moon is the mind of everyone. It represents the mind of everyone. It is the lord of the senses and the emotions. Lord Shiva wears the crescent moon on his forehead. The moon is the lord of the night. The moon represents the ancestors. All the sacrifices, the offerings, they go to the moon. The moon pours nectar or soma as we call it, being an intoxicant. So the moon pours this soma on all the vegetation of the earth. The moon masters the water in the world. It rules the salty taste, controls the tide in the ocean. The moon shines with a dazzling light like a yogurt. It is fair, it is useful, youthful, and watery. Let's invoke the moon by chanting this Bij mantra of the moon. The moon is also called as the Chandra. So we chant Om Shram Shrim Shraum Sa Chandramasaya Namaha. Om Som Somaya Namaha. Let's get started with the mythology of the moon. So this is how the moon looks mythologically. The moon, it has a slim, round body, and intelligent. It has a soft speech. It is wise. It wears white color clothes, has white flowers. His metal is bronze, and silver, pearl are his gems. The moon likes to wander. It rules the blood, the semen in the body. It looks like a drop in the sky. We call it as Hindu. It is luminous, so we call it as Chandra. The moon, it has no enemies. He is supposed to be a friend of everyone. The moon wanes and completes on full moon day. The moonbeams are soothing, cool, and nourishing. You could do a moon bath. The gods, they drink soma from the moon on the dark half, and the forefathers drink the soma on the full moon day. The moon was formed from the tears of joy of Atri Rishi. So let's get started more deeper, going through its mythology. Due to Anusaya is also called the non-spiteful. So she is the mother of the moon. So she and the Atri Rishi, it is because of them that the moon took birth. So there's a long mythological story behind this. It so happened that the gods in the universe wanted to test the purity of Anusuya by coming as guests and asking her to feed them naked. Anusuya was a very intelligent lady. She turned them all into babies, and removing her clothes, she nursed them from her breasts till they became adults. The gods were very impressed, and they blessed her that you shall have children and you should enjoy them. Brahma's boon caused the birth of moon this way. The Rishi Atri stood with arms up morning and night without blinking for 3000 years. His body was perfused with soma. Soma filled everywhere. Soma filled the heavens. It filled all the parts of the earth. It filled the vegetation. And at a point the fetus dropped and assumed the form of the moon. And the moon was born. So the moon has soma, which becomes the food of the gods. So it so happens that the moon gets married to 27 wives, and all of them 27 were sisters. These are the 27 nakshatras. However, the moon preferred to stay more with the nakshatra Rohini in her mansion. The other 26 nakshatras or the wives, they were not happy. So they complained that they too wanted to enjoy a sport with the husband to their father Diksha. He cursed the moon to consumption. Diksha cursed the moon to consumption since the moon was very partial to Rohini and not equal to all the 27 daughters. So due to this consumption, he waned, he lost his glow. Nothing on earth could cure him. All life on earth started to suffer. The vegetation, the plants, everything, life was just suffering. Daksha noticed this, so he promised the moon, if he corrected himself half the month, each month he would be freed from this consumption. Now the moon waxes and wanes as he visits each wife for one day and one night at one time. So then there were no issues with these 27 daughters anymore. The moon, he gets married to Manohara. We also call her as the mind robber. And the moon gives birth to sons. Abhimanyu, Budh, or the Mercury planet, the Graha. Bhadra, Jyotshinakali. So these were the sons the moon got from his other wife. We shall go further into the moon regarding its significations. So the moon is quite important because if you look at your birth chart, there are 12 signs. The sign where the moon is placed, that becomes your Rashi. It defines your personality as to how you would be as a person. Going further on the significations, the moon is exalted in Taurus at 3 degrees. So exalted is having a maximum strength. The moon gets debilitated in Scorpio at 3 degrees. So debilitation is a weakness. The Mool Trikona of the moon, Mool Trikona is also called the trinal strength. This we shall cover in other videos. So the moon has Mool Trikona from 4 degree to 30 degree of Taurus. Looking at the friendships, enmities of the moon with other planets, the moon is a friend of Sun and Mercury. The moon is neutral to Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. And the moon has no enemies. So that's the good thing there. Okay. The moon has directional strength in the 4th house and has a directional weakness in the 10th house. The age of the moon is considered to be 24 years. He is 24 years of age. That's what the moon represents. The moon presides over the organic matter such as vegetation. From the Ayurvedic standpoint, he represents the Vata and the Kapha body constitutions. The substance in the body the moon rules is the blood, the face, the limbs. In the cabinet, the moon is the queen of the cabinet. The caste of the moon is the Vaishyas. The moon represents new clothes, white color clothes. It rules the northwest direction. Disease is represented by the moon. Lethargy, lung diseases, mouth problems like loss of taste, blood illnesses, digestive complaints, water retentions, and mainly the disorders of the mind, because the moon represents the mind in general. The element ruled by water, the moon is water. The moon signifies rice and trees with oil or sap. It represents the night, the water blooming flowers, the rice, the melons, the coconut, the palm trees, These are all signified by the moon. The fruits and vegetables, cucumber, milk products, corn, poppy, mild herbs, and the water as well is represented by the moon. The beer, brewed drinks are represented by the moon. The cooked food, cold substances, tender and juicy fruits are again represented by the moon. From geometry standpoint, the moon represents the circle. The moon glances straight ahead. It has a short height. Bronze and pearl are represented by the moon. The moonstone. The moon is a natural benefic when he is waxing, that is from new the moon is a natural benefic when waxing and malefic when waning. It represents bronze and pearl. Moonstone. The moon is a natural benefic when waxing and he is a malefic when he is waning. He is born with his back first. He rules the senses and emotions. The moon rules the temptation, or it's called dana. The watery places are ruled by the moon. The aquariums, the beaches, docks, river, sea, well, houseboat, ship, public places, hotels, nest, breweries, women's residences, hospitals. These are all the places that are represented by the moon. The moon represents various professions. It represents trade in water products, trade in pearls, trade in corals, trade in fish, agriculture, livestock. The moon represents fashion clothing. It represents work related to or from women. The travel industry is represented by the moon. The hospitality industry, the public, these are all represented by the moon. From the psychology perspective, the moon represents receptivity, sensitivity, imagination, good memory, sound habits, and conditioning. By quality, the moon is sattva. The moon represents mother from the relationship point of view. So the mother is the one who nourishes her children. The gender of the moon is female. The temperament of the moon is fickle and changeable. So this is about the moon. We would see more grahas as we continue further videos. So thank you everyone. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon. See you next week. Thank you.